What is good, you guys? It's your boy Randy Anderson here with another episode of the Word on the Ab. Man, we bring you guys news today, and Lori, not Lauren, Corey, I will let you take it over.
Lord, Lord, what we do? We fuse, man. We do the fusion dance, man.
Yeah, Dragon Ball
We
Z for
do,
y'all.
we do the Dragon Ball fusion dance, man. Took it fused together, man. Yeah, Lori. Now, what's happening? What's happening, man? So we back again. Hope y'all just caught. We hope we just caught. Hope you caught our last discussion that we just had. Go back to see that. We talked about the man who was who got 16 years for burning the LBGT flag. But we have another situation that came to my came to my attention recently. More police brutality, more violation of rights, abuse of power. We had a situation. We didn't even talk about this, man. We had a situation right in the right in the hometown. Cameron, guy named Cameron Lamb. He was, you had that situation right there. He was murdered, and it says might have been mistaken identity. From what I've heard of, just from what I've heard and seen, you know what I'm saying, as far as looking around, getting information. I know there was a situation. A former classmate of mine. He was a person of interest. He was being sought after for murder. You know what I'm saying? He was sought after. He was seen on video or whatnot. Well, some of the rumors that I've heard that they were looking for him. They were looking for him, and they were telling, and this dude came in the police crosshairs. Let me get my words together. This dude was in the police crosshairs because of that. But like I said, that's just speculation from my end. I don't know the validity of that. But yeah, uh, got in the car chase. Don't advise people to get in the car chases with police. And this isn't the story we're talking about. I'm just framing some of the different things that we've missed from the past week. Got in the car chase. Got to a spot over in the 40s. Um, I believe it was a family member's residence. Got there on the property. The detectives followed him in, and there was a shootout. Allegedly, he had a gun. The gun was recovered where he was at. Only problem is just when I get into, and keep in mind when I talk about the Constitution, as y'all can see, and as I explain, I'm just showing you, Constitution really doesn't mean shit in America. But what you do is you get these politicians, as you saw within the Trump impeachment process and everything. They keep bringing it up like like that's the number one priority is to defend that. But then they stomp all over it with their actions, with their with the policies that they put in place. Um, yeah, police went up on his property. Police went up on the property. That's the fourth. That's the Fourth Amendment. That's the Fourth Amendment. You got to you got to go through the right and proper channels. If you know where the person stay, you know where they're at. They do stakeouts all the time. If it's that's that big of a deal, get you a warrant. You know what I'm saying? Get you an authorized warrant to go in there, but to just go in there, run in there. Here you are following in after they're running after them. It's like you're out of pocket because there's no sanctuary in this person's home. Uh, so that's that issue here. That's that issue there. That's just a bad look. We'll see what happens more with that. But this situation here was in Sonoma, California. Uh, Says this is from the San Francisco Chronicle. Petaluma carjack victim beaten and tased before death. Sonoma County deputy to be fired. So the situation, and I think what we'll try to do if we can, I think we can get a video. on here?
The video's on the link. I can't play the video.
Want to
Copyright,
play
and
it?
then
Think they'll,
it's
yeah, they'll flag
it's
us.
copyright, and then it's
Make sure
violence.
y'all check the video out. This is in Sonoma, California.
So
It's
yeah, the
it's tough to watch. It's tough to
yeah,
watch.
the link will be in the description below. But just let you be forewarned that it is violent. So
Okay. Yeah, it'll be tough to watch. Let me hold on, y'all. Give me just a second. I wanna save this before I get into this. I mean, not save it. What the hell? Share it to make sure I ain't shared on Facebook and make sure I'm on there. Y'all see this, man? Tap in. If y'all see this, tap in. Come join the discussion. Join the education. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk our shit. Uh, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Yeah, it's a tough video to watch. His name is David Ward, 52-year-old man. So here we go. All right, ready. So David, this is from San Francisco Chronicle, written by Alejandro Serrano and Evan Cernovsky. So I don't know if they, it's a collaboration or whatnot. David Glenn Ward, 52, died after two Sonoma County sheriff's office deputies and two Sebastopol police officers took him into custody during uh, during an arrest on the morning of November 27th, 2019. Sheriff Mark Essick released video footage of the incident Friday and called the conduct uh, of Deputy Charles Blunt extremely troubling. The deputy will be fired, Essex said. Graphic video footage released Friday showed that a disabled carjacking victim killed by Sonoma County law enforcement officers was pulled through a car window by a deputy who punched him, choked him, slammed his face against the vehicle as keep in mind as, and if you watch the watch the video, you'll see the
yeah,
sequence of events. And as he was being as the second deputy shocked him and multiple times yeah shocked him multiple times with the taser. They released the body cam footage. It's real hard to watch. The story behind this was they believe the car was reported stolen. The car was reported stolen or whatnot. What had happened was the victim actually recovered the car on his own. The victim recovered the car on his own. So when they, so I believe the police got behind him when they found him in traffic. And what I believe, let's see, there was, one of the officers said Ward caused his own death by inexplicably taking a number of bizarre actions that confirmed in the deputies' minds that he was an armed carjacker rather than the victim of that crime. The encounter happened after Blunt and another sheriff's deputy, I said all that, the two other officers mistook Ward for a car theft suspect after he had reported his green Honda Civic taken in a carjacking 3 days earlier. Ward had been pistol whipped in the carjacking and had what appeared to be a black eye. He had retrieved the vehicle but didn't alert police, officials said. When the officers spotted the vehicle and tried to stop him, Ward fled, leading to an early morning chase that started near Bloomfield and Murray Roads south of Sebastopol and ended 5 minutes later when the deputies spun the vehicle out, disabling it. Body camera footage showed an officer with the gun drawn, shouting at Ward to keep his hands up as the officers moved toward the vehicle. And then what you'll see on the video, the first thing the officer comes with, show me your fucking hands, cursing and all that. I don't know how to say, cursing, people can say that, but, isn't it just supposed to be a level of professionalism, especially have some level of decorum, especially when dealing with, when you're in a elevated position, a responsible position, right? like that, that's maybe that's something that's just subjective. But that doesn't, when you're dealing with people, cursing is not gonna
It's not.
solve the problem.
No, it's only gonna make it
More
worse.
times than not, it's just going to escalate that.
Yep.
So that's one thing when dealing with these police officers, when they start talking to you crazy and stuff like that. And they're already, saying the position, a lot of them had that abuse of power. You're just escalating the situation with your words. So I think that's something that should be personally taken into account. Ward appeared to be unable to open the door with one hand and rolled down this window. Uh, he said, "I can't believe this. I'm the injured party in this," Ward said. He later asked, "Why the fuck you harassing me all the time?" So yeah, and then he wasn't getting out. And of course, like I said, they pulled him out the car. Now, what happened is they punched him. They punched him in the back of his head, and what you see on the video, not only punching him, but banged his head. I'm talking about
That shit was
hard, man.
crazy.
Hard. You can hear that, man. Just when he does it, it's hard to watch, man. Bangs his head against the car at the same time of banging his head against the car window. He's being tased.
Tased. Yep.
He's being tased. And then later on, he let's see if it has details on this. Oh no! And then 6 seconds later, after that, after they had done that, put him in the chokehold for more than 30 seconds. So another Eric Garner situation. At that point, they dragged them off. The officers claimed that he had bitten them during the encounter,
Mm-hmm.
but he laid unresponsive. Like, and then he later died at the hospital. Uh, I'm giving y'all my take on it, how I feel. What do y'all think? Did he facilitate his own death by making that move, making that decision to run, uh, get the hell out of Dodge, and keep in mind this was a guy with a mental problem. He had a mental problem.
Laura, you want to go first?
I don't even know where to go. Like,
I'm right there with you.
yeah, yes. The answer is yes, and I don't want to. I don't say that with a good conscience, but the answer is yes.
So they were justified.
No,
No.
I'm not saying they were justified. I'm saying that had he not run, maybe it doesn't
Oh
escalate
yeah,
to that.
yeah,
Is what I'm saying.
yeah.
So with the yes, in a way, yes, you could say that. Yeah, he did. Uh, the excessiveness, I think, is the biggest thing that um, I take issue to. Uh, approaching his car. You can approach his car with a slight level of aggression, and the only reason is because he ran. Like, they have no reason to understand why he ran unless he was the person that stole the car.
Okay, yeah,
So
okay, yeah.
so I understand it. I understand it up until that point. I totally understand. I get it. I'm with the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it there. I think where I lose it is number one. Uh, Granted, you can't size nobody up. Uh, you know, it was just way too excessive. Once you have him and have him detained, because he ain't getting too far in cuffs against two cops. Let's be honest. I know people that run with handcuffs on. But like, once you figure out the proper detaining, uh, like, stop, like, literally stop. Hey, why are you running? Because I have to assume, understanding that he had some mental deficiencies, uh, that they would figure it out pretty quick that something wasn't right. You know, to choke him out, like for real, like choke him out, like come on, you already whooped his ass after he got his ass whooped before.
Along with four officers being present at
Yeah,
the
like
scene. Yeah.
that's why I said like it's just excessive, man. You telling me four guys can't contain one 52-year-old guy, and I'm like I said, you can't size people up. I get that, but you tased them, you beat the shit out of him. You had the nerve to choke him, and then you had the nerve to be a dick and say it's on him.
And then when
This
he's
is on him. Like, don't be a dick and say he deserved it. You know, he didn't deserve to get his ass whooped. He didn't deserve it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it was him. I don't care if it was a guy of 100% no issues. You know what I'm saying? Nobody deserved to get their ass whooped like
yeah,
that. And you know, that's I understand police saying I don't want to do this by myself, so I got to bring in some backup. Four, and I'm sorry. I would really like to know the other cops that were there. Please don't tell me that they got by with a slap on the wrist. Please don't tell me that, because that to me is almost as egregious as what the guy did to choke him out, which ultimately cost him his life. Like, you're watching this happen. You're watching all this unfold. And there comes a point where, I mean, you man, just fucking have some basic humanity and be like, whoa. Hey, all right, we got him, man. We got him. I don't give a fuck if you hog tie him, and I'm being so sincere when I say
oh
that
they hog
shit.
tied him.
Huh?
They hog tied him in the video.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, what else is he gonna do? What else he gonna do once you hog time? Like, that's why I said it's the excessiveness that's the problem. And you know, I know that the chief, you know, was like, he's gonna be fired. What's your culpability understanding that this is not the first time this has happened? What's your culpability? You lost control of your task force. So there should be a level of culpability for him, because this is not the first time that this has happened in this city. I mean, if you read further into the article, you know, they settled a lawsuit against this particular police. And so uh, this one is no different than the other one that you see. I want to make clear. I don't want to, because who had a mental deficiency, that this makes it worse, because it doesn't make it worse. Uh, it's just understanding the level of brutality. It's not hostility. It's the level of brutality that uh, came into play here. That it was excessive. Uh, you know, they doing the right thing by removing that cop from the force. So I mean, that is the right initial move, but I think you have to make other moves. I think that there needs to be some consequences for all of the officers that were at just the one or the two. All four of those sons of bitches need to have some discipline, because nothing's going to change until the tone is set. Like, the tone just still hasn't been set. Like, nothing's going to change until that happens. And so we just gonna keep, you know, we're not gonna stop talking about these stories, because they need to be brought to light. But ultimately, something is like, there needs to be some type of consequence that shakes shit up. I don't give a fuck if the cop is, you know, does life in fucking prison. This motherfucker probably should. His dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? But there's got to be a harsher penalty, man. The penalties just aren't harsh enough yet, man. So these cops just think that, you know, they can just do this shit and get away with it, and you know, they paid they $3 million. It's over to them. You know, it's disgusting, man. It is fucking disgusting, you know. And you know, I mean, like I told you the other day, Corey, man, when you was talking to me about the whole women getting killed, man, the shit's just out there now. This shit ain't changed. This shit's just fucking out there. You know what I'm saying? And it's sick, man. This situation is just another one. You know what I'm saying? Is it your boy Khaled? Another one.
Another one.
You know what I'm saying? God damn, man. But yeah, this is he did, and that's why I said I hate to say it because it doesn't make me feel good saying it. But yeah, he by running, you automatically escalated the situation. Now, you know, like I said, fuck, man. Like I I digress. I digress, man. This, yeah, yeah, stinks, man. My condolences, but that shit stinks.
Yeah, man. I agree. I agree with everything you said. Yeah. I really can't expound anymore except for they did use excessive force. What he should have done was contact the police to let them know that he did recover his vehicle. That should have been the first thing he should have done. But then comes him being special needs. So that brings in another element that a lot of people don't really even look at for real too seriously.
But you can't do that though. Like that's the problem. Like you can't do that. Like you can't hold those police accountable for needing to figure out if dude
Yeah.
That is
was
very true.
troubled in the head. I don't what is the fucking word? I just keep saying shit. He was mentally disabled. That's what I'll leave with that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Uh no, that's I don't hold the police accountable for that because that's not necessarily their job. He
Yeah.
ran. You know what I'm saying? He ran. It's just the excessiveness. The excessiveness is the problem because he painted himself as a criminal. I want that to be clear. He painted himself as a criminal. He didn't mean to. You know what I'm saying? He got spooked. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds like, and this is a whole nother thing. Uh, this is not the first time. This is not the first time because if you recognize the words that the line that he used, stop fucking with me.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't the first time. And so I'm like, do we need to take his license away? Like, is he just a target? Because he has enough common sense, you know? I mean, you look at people with low IQs. You know what I'm saying? People with low IQs, man, it ain't all there. They ain't stupid. They just really, really fucking basic. And this is probably the category that this guy was in. He probably wasn't, mentally disabled. He probably just had a really low IQ, because if you really mentally disabled, typically you can't get a driver's license, So I think that he probably just had low IQ and, uh, uh, he reacted. I can tell you, I look, man, it's a natural reaction to run. Let me be very, very clear about that. It is a natural reaction to run. I can't tell you how many times I ain't done a goddamn thing. Cops show up, I'm out with everybody else. Everybody, and I ain't done nothing. Nothing. The instinct is to run because of the history of treatment, and so and like I said, this dude has been fucked with more than once. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's gotten card checked, more than once, or maybe the cops pulled him over and, he can't answer all the questions because he don't know how to answer those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Where are you
True.
going? What are you doing? All those type of things, for let's say he was autistic. Let's use that phrase. If he's autistic, the more questions you ask, and especially in the speed in which you ask them, rattles them.
Yeah, and they
It
get
rattles
irritated.
them. And so they start doing weird shit
Mm-hmm.
that makes it seem like something else is getting ready to pop off. And that's but it goes back to that notion that Corey always says, like, if it's you or it's me, it's gotta be you. Like, I don't know what you about to do next. And so a cop has to protect himself.
Yeah.
You know, because he has to protect everybody else in the situation. Oh, you know, but yeah, these motherfuckers need some training. They need some training, man,
It's
because
not gonna happen.
you know the understanding that this is not the first offense. Yeah, you're
Especially
right. You're
It's not.
100% right.
Yeah.
But
especially with
understanding this is the
especially
first
with Trump,
offense.
especially with Trump in office, especially Trump do his second term, and he will
He's
be
gonna
doing
have
a
a second
second.
term.
He
Yeah.
will be doing a second term. You know what I'm saying? Whether y'all believe it or not. If he don't, then if it's not Trump, then it's gonna be Bloomberg, and that'll probably be even worse.
It's
That's
not
all you
funny.
got.
I
That's all
shouldn't be
you got
laughing.
as an option because ain't none of these other clowns about to be president of the United States.
Right.
But
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
99.9%
yeah.
chance you gonna have Trump for a second term. And did you hear this dude? They even eyeing now. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen. It's just what I'm saying, speculate. Man, they talking about it. Talking about members of his team is everything. Trump's even alluded to it, joked about it. They talking about third term, and they talking about it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
They no. They ain't talking about third terms. They talking
Life.
about getting rid of the whole rule. So it's go. You just run again.
Yeah, like a chair.
Just run again. You know what I'm saying?
Dictatorship.
Three times, four times, five times, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Dictatorship.
Yep.
yeah. But no, this situation is sad. You know, I think this is another sad case. I'm glad that you referenced Eric Garner. You know, because something similar happened to him that caused his death. That is, you know, what I'm saying, getting choked out like that. Uh, you know, yeah. But this is why we talk about this, people, because these stories, like, we could do this every day. We could do this every day, probably. If we really,
Yep.
really did some digging, we could have a story every day about, police brutality. We could every single day, and
And
that,
it's bigger than just now it has a history, and I do believe it does happen more frequently. A lot of it has to do with because of the
race.
situation and less the economic situation.
Uh
People with
huh.
less people, poor people will be targeted more by
Mm-hmm.
police regardless. But this is something as a whole. This whole thing transcends race, and we're gonna have to identify that. Don't fall into the narrative that is just black people because that's what they're trying to push on the
Yeah.
news. This story hasn't circulated. These stories aren't, what I'm saying, making the big headline news because the news media, mainstream media wants to incite and keep that fear and keep the people split up.
Yeah.
This is something that is you've seen us countless stories. It's been more than just you just had the situation where the Hispanic boy out of California he
Mhm.
got murdered by police. It's transcendent. It's transcending race. It transcends race.
Mhm.
And we have to be on the same page and recognize it as that to be able to mobilize as a full unit. You know what I'm saying? There are priorities when we talk about politics and things like that. Yes, the black race does have to be prioritized, and it does. It America owes the black race as a whole, and it needs to find a way to make it right without snatching money out the taxpayers. Maybe if we could have had guys like Obama actually do their job and do audits instead of bailing the banks out and things like that. We can use that money to fund that or something like that. But they're just a part of the whole system. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else. Uh, this situation, man. This situation. When you talk about mental health, man, America is just mentally ill. Like we're talking about, we taught to be mentally ill. We're fed that. We're fed that. It's not speculation. It's the food. It's the stuff that you ingest. The chemical imbalance is way off. There's uh, homosexuality has been around for a while. I don't know if it's been around since the beginning of the time. There's different conflicting
Greco Romans,
uh,
big dog.
conflicting things. People have their different historical accounts. So I don't know that. I wasn't there. But I will say that there is
That's the
an
soundbite.
uptick. There is an uptick in just not just that, but the whole feminine behavior, feeling like a transgender, things like that. And it is specifically attributed. I'm not even gonna say speculated. It is what it is. It's the food, what I'm saying, the different things that we ingest. Drugs lead to that a lot of times. This is why you see a lot of people that are on drugs, they divulge in homosexual behavior, things like that. It
The
happens
tap
all the
water.
time. So, I'm talking about those hard drugs, things like that. It's chemical, and I'm not making it about homosexual. I keep talking about that. I'm not making it about them. Just talking about a lot of things you see have to do with chemical imbalance on people's reactions. What you seeing, going on. What we deal with. What I'm saying, as black folks, a lot of it does have to do with influence. What we take into our eyes and ears, also, but a big part of it too is what we ingest too, the different things, the sugars, the salts. We love our seasoning. We love the fatty, eat the fatty food. Well, that screws up your mind. Uh, there's been times, man, where I've ate like trash, man. Ate like trash, drinking the wrong stuff, drinking sugary stuff, and I feel like I just wanna snap the neck of the of the next person I see. I'm like, man, why do I feel antsy, man? Because of what I'm ingesting. You drink your water, drink some water, man. You need this every day. You need to run every day. I do too. I do.
That's awesome.
I've been slacking off a little bit, but I try to do 2 miles every day. It affects your mindset. Affects your mindset. So America is mentally ill. My question with the family is, you bring this up. This is what I talk about, and I'm not going to, put blame on them or anything. This is just something, just dealing with we deal with as a society, and people need to look out for. If these are issues, if it was a clear issue that mentally ill, and like I said, the police have no way that they really could have known that. But if you knew that, I mean, you really cared about them, things like that. I'm not saying this is what it is, but where were you? Did you make sure that he took care of it? Now, these are just questions. Maybe you did say,
That's
hey,
true.
did you file a police report? Did you let the police know? There could have been a conversation. There could have been a conversation like, hey, you need to do that. Or I did it already. Well, if he's as mentally ill as you allude to, when I see you bring it up, when I'm talking to the person who said it, when I see you bring this up within this story, it alludes to that it's a really, really, what I'm saying, it's a life altering condition. So at that time, these people need assistance. You need to find some time. You can't throw your whole life away, but you got to find some time throughout the day to make sure this person is right. You know what I'm saying? Because he obviously wasn't capable of handling this business. Something was obviously wrong. You get carjacked, beat, you find the car, you already put the police report, and then you don't say nothing, and then the police see you and you take off running. There's something wrong. Like you said, like Lauren said, why does he have a driver's license? Driver's license, things like that. uh this situation, man, the police, man, it needs to go much, all that, fired. That's the start. But we saw with the Tatiana Jefferson, we had an update on that. He's been indicted for murder. He's been indicted for murder. Now we'll see where it goes. We'll see what the sentencing is, or if there's even justice at all. I want to lean more toward that there will be a sentence. We'll see how much it is. We'll see how this concludes, but we'll keep our eye on that. Uh, but
Same here.
yeah, yeah. But you
Cause
just
it,
want to
cause
you want to
it,
see. I want to see them convicted. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them.
all four.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
some capacity. All
yeah,
four of them in
yeah,
some
for being,
capacity.
for being right there, because if you take part in a robbery, you complicit within a robbery.
Yeah.
Everybody, everybody in the car goes down. You know what I'm saying? Now, even if you didn't want to have nothing to do, you just hopped in. Well, if you're not assisting within the investigation and things like that, they just gonna assume you with it, and you gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? Until you sit up in that room and tell them something, you decide to keep it quiet. You gonna go away when they get to your ass. So that's what these police officers. They're right there. It didn't intervene in any way. I don't. Maybe now. Maybe the situation. Maybe it happened within the moment. There could have been a level of shock. So we can take those. They're human beings also. Police officers are human beings also. So could have been a level of shock. But you didn't hear any protests to what they're doing, and that's part of it. So at the most part, they definitely should lose their jobs. I don't know about it's up in the air whether they should get the a sentence or some type of charge, but they definitely should lose their jobs for being
Mm-hmm.
complicit with that and not even
But
putting type of protest to what went on. Huh?
but see here, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take it a step further though. You lose your job, nah, your badge gone forever,
Yeah, yeah,
forever.
forever,
Like
forever.
you not getting fired from the force. You got another career. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You may try you be a firefighter.
Shout out to the
You know what I'm
firefighters out
saying?
there.
Like you can never be a cop again, ever.
Yep.
I think that for those that watch now, the guy, the main guy, yeah, he needs to be indicted for murder. Like this, it's open and closed to me. Like his level of aggressiveness was over and beyond anything that it had to be. He showed a level of negligence for life. It's in period. You know what I'm saying? You don't hog tie nobody, beat his ass anyway. Like, I mean, shit, you did your job. You know what I'm saying? And if you're that mad, walk away and have somebody finish the shit. You know what I'm saying? If you that mad, walk away and have somebody finish that shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't choking the dude out for what? For
Uh,
what?
yeah, and the dude that
Yeah,
initiated.
don't let me kid. They put his ass in jail. That's what they need to do. Put his ass in jail. They'll kill his ass in jail. Don't let nobody
Allegedly,
find out what he
allegedly,
did. They'll kill his ass in jail.
allegedly. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Put him with the right people. Don't put him with his buddies. Put him with the right people.
Yeah.
They'll kill his ass in jail.
but yeah, we also have to take in consideration that he was, I believe, the elder statesman of the group, and they have the quote unquote power to say and do anything around the younger people, and those are the people who make the younger people do pretty much anything and everything and don't say nothing at all. Like what I say is law, and you're a rookie here or you're a second year here, so you really don't have any say in any of this. And if you go to the higher ups, I'll get you moved. You know what I'm saying? So we have always have to put that put that into the ether as well. You know what I'm saying?
They still need to be out of here. They still need to be out of
I'm,
there
I,
because it takes a high level of that job position requires from our standpoint from the taxpayer, but we do realize that we don't have control, and it's basically government commission. It's supposed to be we be the ones, the taxpayer. We're the
taxpayer,
ones that
yeah.
pay the salaries and this and that, but they only uphold whatever the government imposes at their own will. Uh, so they're gonna that position requires the apex of integrity. It requires the apex of integrity. I mean, it's already got to be within you. It's already got to be within you. Now, like I said, I'm not going to throw them away. Throw them away. Of course, with them being young, that's why I leave it open to like, hey, just lose their job, lose their police. license, lose that at the least. But of course they're young, but they don't have to be. They don't have to be, uh, so to say. They don't have to be put in jail or anything, but it should already be incorporated. It should be incorporated within the training that you're supposed to report that, because even with that person being the elder statesman, he has a position to
That's not how
play.
that works though. And
Huh?
that's
Oh
not
no, I'm
that,
saying
I was
yeah,
about to
yeah.
say
I
yeah.
know, I know that's
Okay, I
not
was about
how
to
it
say yeah,
works.
that's not
Yeah,
how that works
yeah,
because I
yeah,
I know a few police officers, and
yeah,
I know a little bit about the backgrounds about a lot of this stuff that's
yeah,
going on. It's just
yeah.
like
Yeah, I know, and it's dirtier than what you think. They'll turn. I, I know. Like I said, I think I've said it before. I don't want to put a lot
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
spotlight on it, but there's a situation. I know somebody close to me, and yeah, they had their life was put on. They put their life on the line, hunted after, but because of they chose to have integrity. And within the police force. Uh, yeah, that's the reality. It's the way that you say it is. That is the reality. But I'm just saying that as how we receive it as a public. You know what I'm saying? When we're speaking as a public. We're keeping our side. We're keeping our side because I don't want to do that, but there is a line. The America is split up in many ways, but there are lines that have to be drawn, especially when it becomes to violating human rights. That's where lines get drawn. Even amongst American citizens, a line has to be drawn at that point. All the silly stuff like race and what I'm saying, gender, and what I'm saying, what you're doing in the bedroom, that's silly crap. That's silly crap. Uh, uh, but yeah, this is for the people to absorb, so they can know how to attack these things. That's why I put that post, with Cameron Lamb. There's a lot of I put that up because I want people to understand exactly how to attack these situations, because the news had different. The news had you saw some reports were saying he was already at the house working on the car, things like that, and others say he's in a high speed and things like that. So and those details do have outcome, like we talked about, on people facilitating the sequence of events that leads to their deaths. But that doesn't absolve what the police, saying, the actions that they take.
yeah,
That doesn't absolve the actions that they take. So we talk about so the people can understand, so they can identify those officers when they see them, like, hey, you ain't supposed to be on the damn floor. You that officer that was there when that shit happened, when that
mm-hmm.
bullshit happened. You know what I'm talking about? And so when lines are drawn, I'll just say it like this: when lines get drawn, lines will be drawn.
Yeah,
I'll leave it there. The line will
Indeed.
be drawn. Uh, so yeah, no, but you're 100% right. The reality is that you gotta. I mean, not you gotta. They're gonna. They want their jobs. They don't want to be threatened. Because a lot of those guys, they take it to a whole nother level. They don't want to deal with all that, so they're just gonna go with everything. But like I said, how we look at it, how we should be taking it in, that's still no excuse. It's unacceptable. You're not cut out. It should be instilled within you already, if not from early in life, from the values that your parents or people around you gave you. It should be instilled within you by that law enforcement. And if it's not, that means there's a whole entire problem with that law enforcement, and that whole thing needs to be cleaned out one way or the other. That's all I'm gonna say. Lines get drawn. So
Did
yeah.
you have anything? I know you wanted to say something else, Lauren.
Nah, if I did, I don't remember it. It wasn't pertinent. Uh, yeah, it wasn't pertinent. Everything that was said tonight was was 100% on point. I think that you know, uh, we consistently want to play the race card, in situations like this, when that works against us more often it works for us, and that's proven. And not only that, but identify identify when it's really racial injustice. It's like the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah.
Keep crying. Eventually, it's gonna happen. Nobody's gonna believe you because you keep misidentifying what it really is. And so we have to do a better job of that. This situation proves it. It's not just black people. It's not brown people. They give it to anybody. They give it to anybody. And so, yeah, no, it's another sad situation. Another person lost their lives. I just say, just based off of a lack of self control. There are preventative measures that can be put in place to minimize things like this. I do believe that a better training system for law enforcement in general is needed, especially from a psychological standpoint. I think the psychological standpoint is where uh, uh, the issues really start to come into play. Uh, you know, uh, and then you got to make examples. Hell, they made examples out of black men looking at white women. You got to make an example. you know, uh, you know, yeah, yeah.
If it ever comes to that,
yeah, I'm gonna be quiet, man. I'm gonna be quiet. So
that's
our
only
show week to week.
when we talk about that. I make it clear that this is for the people that receive that. That's only reserved for when the lines are drawn. So you have to know when that is. Going prematurely, doing things prematurely, and things like that. That's you leave the door open for a tragedy to happen. You'll be fucking with the wrong person. You remember that's if I don't know y'all haven't seen Queen and Slim. For the people that seen Queen and Slim, that's what that in my eyes, that's what I took from that situation that happened within that movie.
With the nigga cop.
Misguided. It only comes when the lines are drawn. Only when it comes when the lines are officially drawn. But we haven't even got to that point because we're not even dealing. We're so busy with our everyday lives that we're not even addressing these things, and then we're accepting it. Everything in like I say this all the time, but this is so relevant. People need to learn about how Rome fell, learn about how Germany, get outside and, that know your history, know black culture. You have to know that. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you so much about black history, but you got to go further. You don't stop there. Learn how the world operates so you don't fall into the same trap. Hitler didn't overtake Germany without the approval of the public, without a large approval. It was a large approval. It was within the minority as far as it was only 37%, but the rest of the country was so divided that 37% was the highest portion, but a minority within itself compared to the rest. Are you see where I'm going with this? Are you seeing where I'm going with this? So there has to be, you can't get everybody on board, but there does have to be a concentrated effort because we put energy into the silly things. We get other things shared and stuff like that. We have to put high energy, and then talking about everybody, no matter what color you are, whoever, because like I said, this is an issue that transcends everybody. You have to put the put it on notice. Your voice has to be heard. When people's voice was to be heard, it gets heard. Your voice has to be heard. It's got to be loud. And then once you start having that, you start having these conversations. It has to be ingrained within the public. The public has to understand what they're dealing with. A lot of people got to understand about the constitutional rights and where I'm going. It's what I'm talking about, and different things like that. They have to understand, have an understanding for this. It can't be just off blind. You know what I'm saying? Blind. You know what I'm saying? Moving blindly. And I feel like this is wrong, so I'm a I'm gonna draw the line. No, you got to have these conversations first. You got to have these conversations. There has to be a talk. You have to force them. And now they start turning their back and they start showing that snake. When that snake starts showing, like I said, you have to put yourself in these positions so you can draw it out. You can't draw it out with emotion. This is what we keep talking about. You can't draw out that devil with emotion. You know what I'm saying? Because all it to do is just hide behind shit. All it has to do is just hide behind stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about racism, labeling everything racism instead of really identifying what the hell racism is. So you ain't gonna have no damn revolt. People talking about revolts and all this crazy shit. If you don't even understand what the hell you're dealing with, you don't even understand your enemy. So you'll go knocking off an ally. You'll go knocking off somebody who's an ally, which is what I'm talking about. Was when I talked about the MAGA situation on the last video. When you're dealing with MAGA, you just assume that everybody rocking a MAGA hat is against you, and that is not the truth. But you're not educated enough. So we got to get enough people educated in the proper way. There's a lot of people that are educated, but they have to advance it now because there's a small percentage. There is a really, really small percentage that are operating within the space that you see here. And a few other guys are moving. Everybody's talking about, you know what I'm saying, Black history, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Or they talking about Republican problems, Democrat problems, things like that. Now you got to keep going. You got to keep going because it's even bigger than that. These things happen for a damn reason. So you have to, the education's got to be there first, you know what I'm saying, before anything else. Everybody always talking about action and stuff like that. There has to be, the education has to be there. Y'all saw I'm not going to be too much longer. Y'all saw I posted, on YouTube, they have it to where people, the different sites, they can put a poll up.
Oh yeah.
Breakfast Club put a poll up dealing with Dr. Umar Johnson. He was just on there. He had a very powerful appearance on the Breakfast Club. Extremely powerful. I love everything he was talking about. For the most part, they had a poll. You know what I'm saying? He had different things that are hurting the Black community, you know what I'm saying, that are holding us down, you know what I'm saying, to this day. And the number one thing was miseducation when the poll was taken. When this was at that time, it was 50,000 people that voted. And 45% of the people agreed that miseducation is the biggest thing that keeps us down. Gotta re-educate, you know what I'm saying, or add on to the education that we got. You can't just stop. But everybody wants to be a guru. Everybody wants to be right or wrong. Everybody wants to be the supreme. I know it all. Oh no, I know more than you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of coming together, taking your information and combining it. You know what I'm saying? We're the sum. We're the sum of, you know what I'm saying, a whole bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? We're just all different parts, cogs and within the machine. That's all I got, man.
All right. Y'all want to? Which one?
Is that all?
That's it.
Hey man, I love it, man. You know what I'm saying, y'all. We don't. Our aim is not to ramble, but at the same time, we wanna make sure that we provide a high level of education on a wide array of topics. So you have to excuse us when we get in our feelings a little bit.
He said getting our feelings. All right, yes.
Getting our feelings a little bit, massa.
Oh no, but the last part. But with all this being said, with all this being said, man, I want to shout out to both my brothers, man, Corey, Lauren. I want to shout out to everybody that's been rocking with us. Shout out to the family. I don't know what we're gonna call y'all in 2020, but right now, shout out to the family. You know what I'm saying, on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, BitChute, wherever, at Facebook, and everywhere else that we are. Shout out to the family. What I want you guys to do is, man, have a blessed holiday. Have a good New Year. I should have, hopefully, I should have a couple episodes for you guys for New Year's, or an episode, audio and visual for you guys for New Year's. But yeah, have a blessed holiday. I know everybody don't celebrate Christmas, so happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and L'Chaim to everybody. We out, man. See y'all later. Peace.